Well, hello there everybody, it's Tim and I'm back, and today we're doing Italy. It's a particularly special one for Italy because I'm going to do quite an ancient, well certainly a very old recipe from Italy called Nipples of Venus. Yeah, you heard it, Nipples of Venus. And you know what? This recipe has been brought back to popularity by Amadeus, the play and the flick, which I happen to be in. And it's why my voice might be sounding a bit dodgy. We opened a version of Amadeus at the Albuquerque Little Theatre last night, went down like the clappers, had a great opening night, and just so happens that I for Italy is around, and Nipples of Venus stars in the show. So I thought it only right that I make Nipples of Venus. It's not that tricky to make, but it's supposedly very decadent and tasty. What do we need for it? We need lots of chocolate. So a couple of bars of chocolate, 6 ounces of chocolate you'll need, 8 ounces of white chocolate. Then the main ingredient is supposed to be chestnuts, but it is August here in, September nearly anyway, here in Albuquerque, so I couldn't find any chestnuts. I went to Whole Foods, I went to Trader Joe's, all the specialty places, and they assured me that they wouldn't be in until November/December. So there is a good alternative, either walnuts or almonds. So I made a combination of almonds and walnuts, ground them up until they are quite tiny, and you will need 14 ounces of that. You'll need some icing sugar, powdered sugar. I've got some brandy. You'll need 1/3 of a cup of that, a pinch of cayenne pepper, some vanilla. Oh, there's a pen there, you won't need that, I'll throw that away. Some butter and salt, and that is pretty much it. So I'm gonna get cracking. I start with 5 tablespoons of butter, which I've let soften up here. In you go, you naughty little demi stick. Throwing that away, and I am going to combine the butter and cream it with 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Get that in the bowl here. Hopefully you can see that, I think you can, and give that a good creaming. Whilst that is creaming, I am going to get the the chocolate going in the microwave. You will know from previous installments that I'm not a big fan of doing it over a hot water bath. I know I should be shot, but I haven't quite found out yet why I should be shot. There goes 1 bar of chocky, and then I'm going to put most of another bar of chocky. I think this is going to be something along the lines of that. So I'm going to put that in the microwave and melt that. Ooh, getting very excited here. I'll put it on for a minute and see what happens there. Whilst that's doing its thing, I'm going to cream together the butter and the sugar here. Nearly there. Creamy, creamy. Yum, yum. There we go. You'll notice my voice is a bit dodgy. Sorry about that. Makes me sound kind of a little bit sexier, really. I feel like I'm Leonard Cohen. I have mushed together the butter with the sugar. 1/3 of a cup of sugar you needed for that. Next up, the chestnuts into the butter. What is going to happen here is that we're going to make a divine sort of boozy, nutty centre, which we will then dip in white chocky. So I put the ground, what should be chestnuts, but are actually almonds and walnuts, into the butter, and I'm stirring those up. Stirring. Ooh, I'm all over the shop. Looking nice, starting to come together. There we go. Basically everything is going to go in here except the white chocky, which will go over the top. Let's have a look at this in another 30 seconds in the Nike. So yeah, Nipples of Venus appear in the Amadeus, both the film and the play. And what happens is Salieri, who is the main character in Amadeus, whilst it's called Amadeus after Mozart, it's about the jealousy of Salieri. And Salieri offers Nipples of Venus, really it seems like, to any woman he is trying to have it off with, really. But he gives them first to Mozart's wife, Constanza. I'm going to pour the melted chocky now into the mixture of the nuts and butter, and there it goes. That it's sort of what we're making is a rather decadent truffle. There's that done. So I'll put that to one side over there. I seem to have two spatulas in here now. Goodness knows what's going on here. Okay. I have to admit, it's probably quite evident. I'm pretty exhausted right now. Okay, so into the mixture, I am going to put a third of a cup of brandy. This is actually apple brandy that I have left over from something else. Third of a cup, little splosh more for luck, because you can never overdo the brandy, can you? Oh yeah, I suppose you can. And that gets mixed in. That is looking nice too. I'm going to add a pinch of cayenne pepper, spice things up a bit, and I'm also going to put a teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's about a teaspoon, and going to stir that in. So that is the innards. A wee dishy, because I'm going to form the little nipples. They're not, what I'm making right now is the actual bosom rather than the nipple, and I'm rolling them into sort of I guess they're about the size of a golf ball. I think I'm making here. Oh, they smell so good. What's going to happen is once I've made these, I'm going to dip them into white chocolate. So that makes them into a white bosom. I guess in the ideas of the original Italian cooks, the bosom of Venus, or the nipple of Venus, would be very white. I'm trying to be inclusive, so use different colours of chocky to make your different interpretations of nipples for Venus, your different interpretations of Venus and her boob. I can tell this is going to be incredibly rich because not only has it got the brandy in it, but it's got all those nuts and chocky. So I have I've finished up my my boobs, and they are all fairly boob-like shape. And I have melted the 4 ounces of white chocolate, and the gig now is to turn them into more boob-like look. So I'm going to put my first boob onto a fork, and I'm going to rotate it in the melted chocolate so that it is oh no, my boob died. Never mind, I'll make a demi boob. I'd just like to, no, I'll do it this way, I think. Pop it in. I think the secret is not to put a fork into it. Tell you what, I'm just going to plop it in like that and see how that goes. That one looks a bit better. The colour is actually changing already from away from a completely Aryan white boob into something a little bit more Mediterranean maybe. And what I did with these other ones is I put them in the fridge for a bit to get them to cool, and then I carved away the edges so that they became quite smooth like that. I'm going to let these cool and then I'll be back in a minute. Have a look at the nipples here. I have covered them all in the white chocolate, and some of them have little streaks of the chocolate from underneath coming through. So what I did was I just put a little bit of extra chocolate over the top. They're now hard, and what I did was whip together a little bit of icing sugar with some red food colouring, and using a skewer I daubed on the nipples. Now what you can see that I've done with these ones, I'll do these other ones in a minute, but what I did was I got a knife and I trimmed them so that they're more perfectly boobalicious. So there is my nipple of Venus. It was a fun one to make, not quite as straightforward as I thought, but definitely they are divine. I have had one, and they are just rich, decadent, yummy deliciousness. A gentle reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that our blog is justdesserts.food.blog. Our Facebook page is Tim Crofton Just Desserts. Our Instagram, let me check very quickly, is just_Tim_desserts. And there's one other thing, blog, Instagram and Facebook. I think that's us. Anyway, look, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And please spread the word. You're superstars. Take care.